In the neon-drenched streets of Karachi, where the sea whispered secrets to the night, Aisha moved like a ghost. 24, sharp-eyed and dangerously beautiful, she worked as a private nurse for the city's most powerful and most feared families. Her latest patient was a man everyone warned her about, Zain Malik. Zain was not just rich, he was lethal. At 32, he ruled an empire built on shadows, smuggling, underground fights, and alliances that could topple governments. His face was carved by violence, a sharp jaw, a scar running through his left eyebrow, and eyes so dark they swallowed light. People said he had killed more men than he could count. Aisha didn't care about rumors. She needed the money. Her younger brother's medical bills were piling up like bodies in the morgue. The first time she entered his mansion in Clifton, the air felt heavier. Armed guards watched her with cold suspicion. Zain was lying in his massive bedroom, recovering from a gunshot wound to his side. When their eyes met, something dangerous sparked. "You're late," he said, voice low and rough like gravel. "I don't work for you yet," Aisha replied calmly, checking his bandages. Her fingers brushed his skin, and she felt him tense. He smirked. "You do now." From that night, everything changed. Zain recovered fast, too fast. Within 2 weeks, he was walking, though still in pain. He started watching her. Not the way patients watch nurses, the way predators watch prey. But Aisha wasn't prey. She met his gaze every time, chin high, fearless. That only made him want her more. One stormy night, when thunder shook the windows, Zain cornered her in the hallway. "Why aren't you afraid of me?" he asked, stepping so close she could smell his cologne mixed with the faint metallic scent of blood. "Because fear is a luxury I can't afford," she whispered. He grabbed her wrist, not hard enough to hurt, but firm enough to warn. "You should be terrified, Aisha. Men who get close to me end up dead." She looked straight into his eyes. "Then why are you getting close to me?" The kiss that followed was not gentle. It was fire and fury, teeth and desperation. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. "I'm not a good man," he growled against her lips. "I know, but you're the only man who's ever made me feel alive." That was the beginning of their deadly romance. Zain's world was collapsing around him. A rival gang led by the brutal Farhan Rahman wanted his territory. Farhan had already tried to kill him once. Now he was coming for everything Zain loved, including Aisha. 2 weeks later, when Aisha was leaving the mansion after her shift, a black SUV screeched to a halt. Masked men dragged her inside before she could scream. They took her to an abandoned warehouse near the port. Farhan was waiting, smiling like a shark. "Zain's new toy," he said, circling her. "Pretty. I wonder how much he'll pay to get you back, or if he'll even bother." Aisha spat in his face. Farhan laughed. "Feisty. I like that. Maybe I'll keep you for myself." Meanwhile, Zain received the video. Aisha tied to a chair, blood trickling from her lip, eyes defiant. Rage like he had never known flooded his veins. He loaded his guns, called his most loyal men, and drove into the night like death itself. The rescue was pure chaos. Zain's team stormed the warehouse. Gunfire exploded everywhere. Zain moved like a shadow, killing anyone who stood between him and Aisha. When he finally reached her, Farhan had a gun to her head. "Let her go," Zain said, voice ice cold, his own gun pointed at Farhan. "Drop your weapon or I paint the floor with her brains." Aisha looked at Zain, tears in her eyes but no fear. "Don't do it," she whispered. "He'll kill us both." Zain didn't hesitate. In one fluid motion he fired. The bullet hit Farhan in the shoulder. At the same moment, Aisha slammed her head back into Farhan's face. Chaos erupted again. Zain fought through 3 men to reach her. When he finally cut her ropes, she threw her arms around him. "You came," she breathed. "I will always come for you," he said, kissing her hard amid the sound of bullets. They escaped, but the war had just begun. Farhan survived, and now he was furious. For the next month, Zain and Aisha lived in hiding. They moved between safe houses, sometimes in the mountains near Murray, sometimes in a small apartment in Lahore. Every night was a mix of fear and passion. Their love became fierce, almost violent in its intensity. One night in a remote cabin, as rain poured outside, Zain held her close. "I should let you go," he said, tracing the bruise on her cheek. Aisha straddled him, eyes blazing. "I don't want safe. I want you, even if it kills me." Their lovemaking that night was desperate. Every touch carried the weight of possible death. Every kiss tasted like goodbye. But danger caught up. Farhan's men ambushed them at dawn. Bullets shattered the windows. Zain pushed Aisha behind the bed and returned fire. "Run," he shouted. "I'm not leaving you," she screamed, grabbing a gun from the floor. She had never fired one before, but she shot anyway, hitting one attacker in the leg. Zain looked at her in awe and terror. This woman, this brave, stubborn woman, was willing to die with him. They fought their way out. Zain took 2 bullets, one in the arm, one grazing his ribs. Aisha dragged him to their car, speeding away as the cabin burned behind them. In a small clinic run by a doctor who owed Zain favors, they patched him up. Aisha refused to leave his side, even when exhaustion made her hands shake. "Why do you love me?" Zain asked weakly, lying on the narrow bed. "Because you're the only person who sees me more than just a nurse, more than just a poor girl trying to survive. Because when I'm with you, I feel like I can burn the whole world down and still be safe in your arms." Zain pulled her down and kissed her forehead. "Then we'll burn it together." They decided to end the war once and for all. Zain called in every favor, every alliance. He planned a final confrontation at an old shipyard on the outskirts of Karachi. Aisha insisted on coming. "You're not fighting without me," she said stubbornly. Zain wanted to argue, but he saw the fire in her eyes, the same fire that had drawn him from the beginning. He handed her a gun. "Stay behind me," he ordered. The night of the showdown was moonless and heavy with tension. Farhan arrived with 30 men. Zain had 20. The odds were bad, but Zain had something Farhan didn't: pure, unfiltered rage for the woman he loved. The battle was brutal. Men fell on both sides. Zain moved like a demon, shooting and fighting hand to hand. Aisha stayed low, but when one of Farhan's men tried to sneak up on Zain, she shot him without hesitation. Farhan and Zain finally faced each other in the center of the shipyard, surrounded by dead bodies and the smell of gunpowder. "You took everything from me," Farhan snarled. "You touched what was mine," Zain replied coldly. They fought like animals, fists, knives, pure hatred. Zain was wounded, slower, but his love for Aisha gave him strength no drug could match. In the final moment, as Farhan raised his gun, Aisha appeared behind him and pressed her pistol to the back of his head. "Drop it," she said, voice steady. Farhan laughed. "You don't have the guts." She pulled the trigger. Farhan dropped dead at Zain's feet. Zain stared at her, breathing hard, blood on his face. "You killed for me," he whispered. "I'd kill the whole world for you," Aisha said, stepping into his arms. The war was over. 3 months later, they stood on a quiet beach in Gwadar. The sea was calmed for once. Zain had stepped away from most of his illegal businesses. He was still dangerous, still powerful, but he was trying. For her. Aisha wore a simple white dress. No big wedding, just them, the ocean, and the future they had stolen from death's jaws. Zain took her hand. "I never believed in love," he said, "until you walked into my life with your fearless eyes and steady hands." Aisha smiled, the same smile that had once saved him and nearly destroyed him. "And I never believed I could love someone so dangerous," she replied. "But here we are, alive, together." He pulled her close, kissing her deeply as the waves crashed around their feet. Their love had been born in blood and bullets. It would survive in fire and forever.